Have you ever been talking to someone and they just won't commit? Have you spent months of your life, maybe even a year plus, talking to an individual, going on dates, doing all the boyfriend-girlfriend nonsense, and still there is no label? Well, in today's episode, I'm gonna explain how long it should take for them to pop the question. Now, I want you to understand, before I jump into here, these are general guidelines. It's not something that's gonna be exact in every single scenario, but these guidelines are gonna save you a lot of time, a lot of headaches, and they're gonna give you a frame of reference to go upon when you're talking to someone in a romantic relationship. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Sumi here with Team Basani. If you guys haven't done so, hit that bell notification to stay on top of all my videos. Definitely like the video and drop a comment. It helps the algorithm. Follow me on all major platforms, and let's get into today's topic. How long should you wait? I get this question from a lot of ladies all over the internet. They DM me on social media and they say, I've been talking to this guy, and they break down a scenario, and guess what? It's always the same thing. I really like him. Everything is good. We've been going on dates. We've been intimate, but he won't pop the question. So, how long should I wait? What kind of guidelines are there for a situation like this? Are there even guidelines for a situation like this? There's not enough videos out there. There's not enough content out there that gives you clear, strict guidelines. And today, I'm gonna explain the baseline that you can go upon. So first and foremost, I want you to understand, it's different in a lot of different scenarios, and it depends on the type of lifestyle that guy typically has. Now, this can definitely happen in the opposite scenario, so I'm just gonna get out of the way. Guys, if a girl does not want to commit to you and she's not interested in a relationship with you, then it's probably not the right person to kind of go for in a romantic relationship. A lot of women are going to naturally want a relationship with you because as a guy, you have that control. Typically, it's the man that pursues the woman reciprocates, and then the guy commits and gives it a label and really asks the girl, hey, do you wanna be my girlfriend? Now, there's definitely scenarios where this doesn't happen. There's definitely scenarios where a girl would say, no, I don't want to be your girlfriend. And that's a very clear-cut statement where she's not that into you. So a girl that likes you is always going to want to be your girlfriend. Now it's up to you to define what that is. So now that we got that out of the way, ladies, here's what you need to understand. Now, typically, it depends on the nature of interaction. So when you first start dating somebody, I highly advise that you see them at least once a week. You should try to make a little bit of time once a week where you can sit down and talk to this person. Now, if you're doing something more so long distance, I would say twice a month. Now, that can depend on your situation. Yes, it could be once a month. Yes, it could be once every couple months. And depending on how your lifestyles are, I would highly recommend you work with a relationship coach, a dating coach, to kind of help you in the situation itself. But most of the time, you're going to be seeing them at least once a week for dinner, for coffee, or just hanging out in general. And over a period of time, that frequency is going to increase. And the length of stay that you have with that person is going to also increase. So you're seeing them more often and you're spending more time with them. And typically, in about 90 days, you want to make an evaluation of the relationship itself. 90 days is the time I use. Sometimes people say 100 days, but around this mark is where you want to really say, hey, what are we? Now, before I jump into that, I would never ask a guy, what are we? Because that is demonstrating a clear understanding that you don't know what the relationship is. And when you are clearly demonstrating, like, I don't know what's going on, it puts you at a disadvantage. And also, it pushes the guy to maybe label the relationship in an inauthentic way. So I don't necessarily agree with the whole idea of what are we and asking a guy this. If you don't know, you don't know, and he's not putting in that commitment. So typically, the length of time that you should wait for a guy to commit is about 3 months. 3 months, 90 days, where a guy will then pop the question. As long as there's normal interaction, you're seeing him on a week-to-week basis, he should say, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? Do we want to make this a little bit more serious? Now, it doesn't have to be a full-out girlfriend situation thing, but typically it's going to be, can we be exclusive? And what I mean by exclusivity is you guys are just seeing one another and you're seeing how it goes with one another. For some of you, this might be unacceptable. I see so many videos, so many clips on the internet saying, if a guy doesn't know right away, he's not worth my time. Listen, don't listen to very, very obtuse and far-ended advice. Be a little realistic when you're talking to someone because you don't know their lifestyle, you don't know their background, you don't know their trauma, you don't know what they look for in a relationship, and it takes time to identify what your partner wants. So be patient with people, but also be respectful of your own time. I don't want you to waste your own time, and I don't want you to do something that doesn't make sense for you. So that's why 90 days is a really good period of time to evaluate while you guys have been talking if this makes sense. 90 days. Now, here is where it gets a little tricky. If the person you're talking to is very, very busy, and what I mean by this is that he's a CEO, he's ultra successful, maybe he's a celebrity, maybe he's an athlete, maybe they are someone that has a lot of attention, it's going to be longer. It's going to be at least 6 months. And not all of you are going to be in the situation, but for those of you out there that are talking to individuals that are in a very, very busy lifestyle, I'm not talking about the regular job. I'm talking about someone that has a lot of responsibility, where he's constantly surrounded by people, where he constantly has things to do, and he is providing for others. It is going to be at least 6 months. And the reason for this is because when someone is very busy, when someone has a lot of resources, when someone has a lot of value in the nature of the relationship, they're naturally going to be more cautious on who they pick. They're naturally going to be less available. They're naturally going to be more focused on their passion, their purpose, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be in a relationship, but it really means that they have to go slower in the process of identifying you and really breaking down your pros, your cons, and everything that you can be in their life. They're identifying if you're a good fit into their life and the relationship while you are concurrently doing it as well. So you have to be a little bit more patient with someone that has a lot going on. It's not as much of a quick decision. If someone is just an average person, and I'm not saying that they're regular by any means, they're just, living a simple lifestyle, a regular lifestyle, 3 months is a good rule, where you then go into exclusivity or just being girlfriend, boyfriend. Then from there, I would wait about 1 year to 2 years to really jump into the question of being engaged. If you get engaged less than a year, it's typically a red flag, because a year in, you're in the honeymoon phase. So people make decisions very aggressively, very rashly, and this is what leads to a lot of divorce. I would wait at least a year or two of talking to that person to then jump into a serious engagement. The average length of time for engagement for successful marriages, these are marriages that are actually on the books and don't necessarily have those divorce situations, is actually 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years is a great benchmark for you to talk to someone, to get to know somebody, and to really evaluate if they're a good fit for the rest of your life. I'm talking 30, 40, 50 years. A lot of women especially will try to rush this, especially if they're closer to their late 20s. They say, look, I don't have a lot of time. Listen, don't make a mistake. Don't rush what could be the rest of your life with someone that may not be compatible. Definitely take your time. And if it's someone that really makes sense for you, then it's going to be very easy. But I don't want you guys spending year to year to year to year trying to talk to somebody. And look, ladies, guys will take advantage. If guys have the ability a lot of times to elongate the talking phase while still getting exclusivity from you, then it's a win-win for him, because he still has his ability to go talk to women and he's still not under the label of a relationship, and he can still do whatever he wants. Now, once again, if he's a very busy man, if he has a lot going on, if he's a very, very successful individual, it is going to take at least 6 months to a year. Do not be fooled. I am someone that stands on this myself. But if it's someone that is just working more so in a regular job, 3 to 6 months is really all you need, and he should be popping that question. And if he's not, listen, you are then permitting what you promote. You are then solidifying and reinforcing the concept that he can still have me in any way he wants and play this house-type relationship and still be under the label of nothing. So I want you to protect yourself. I don't want you to be foolish, and I want you to be guarded in what you do, but I also don't want you to be unrealistic. Don't go ahead and try to pressure a man to be with you, because all you're going to do is kind of turn him off, push him away, and he's going to look at the relationship as something that he's forced to do rather than something that he wants to do. He needs to pop that question. He needs to understand that you are the value that he needs in his life. And so while you are in the initial stages of talking, I would never advise you to just be completely exclusive. Now, if you want to just talk to him and not talk to anybody out there, if you're a one-man kind of girl in the early stages of talking, look, I respect that. I think that's wonderful, and that is very, very favorable, even for me. But in today's world, it's not about them liking you. It's about them liking you over everybody else out there. We have social media, we have the internet, and we have dating apps. So people are talking to a lot of people when they're dating, especially men. And it's not just men, it's also women, but I want you to understand that he's selecting you amongst all the other women he's talking to. So it's not necessarily fair for you to cut off all your other options unless you have that exclusivity, unless you have that fixed commitment from him. And now if he is a very high caliber guy, he's probably going to want that exclusivity early on. And these are the circumstances that you have to deal with. When you are trying to catch the fish that is a little bit more rare, a little bit more exclusive, you have to put more effort, more energy, more focus, and more resources to try to lock that thing down. So when you are embarking on a journey to try to tackle and try to capture the highest quality man that you can, and if he is a high caliber man, look, I understand this, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to sacrifice. Dating is always a sacrifice. It's a use of your time in the youngest years of your life. It's a use of your emotional energy. And for men especially, it's a use of their resources. So no matter what, you have to go in with the mindset that you are going to spend. And it's a risk. But the one thing I've learned in life is the people that take the most calculated risk are the ones that come out as the biggest victors in society. So a lot of ladies that I've coached, that have put the time, energy, and effort in and have taken the risk and have sacrificed and have maybe been a little bit more exclusive in the beginning have also found themselves in very happy, healthy, and very locked up relationships with guys that are absolutely amazing, because that's what these guys are looking for. I have also found that some ladies don't necessarily identify the red flags and they go into a relationship and they sacrifice too much for someone that does not make sense. And a lot of times end up throwing away the youngest years of their life for someone that doesn't necessarily care for them. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me on social media. You're more than welcome to join my private coaching programs. The link is down below. And guys, I appreciate you for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend it with me. Much love. Thank you so much for all the support. Until next time, guys, Sumi out.